G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. It's time for episode 3 of Tales of the Jedi. Now so far I've only watched the first 2 episodes and of course it hasn't been offensively bad. I think episode 1 so far is probably the worst. It's just a bit like, who really needs to see Ahsoka as a child? I think there's a couple of issues with that as well. I mentioned in my review for episode 1, which you can check out. Episode 2 wasn't too bad. So far, probably my favorite episode, but I do feel like with Count Dooku, they're probably starting to do him a little bit of a disservice. Again, I mentioned in that review for episode 2 that Count Dooku, if you want a really good story for Count Dooku, the best thing to do is to read the Plagueis novel, and of course, if you want to get a bit more context to how he was actually manipulated and how bad he was actually manipulated, read the Revenge of the Sith novel as well. But look, let's get into this episode. Now, of course, if you are new here, I watched the episode, you get to see a couple of my reactions throughout the episode, and you'll get my thoughts and my review at the very end. Anyway, let's get into this, episode 3, Choices.
Why are you concerning yourself with these questions? The Council gave us our instructions.
Why not? I don't see why they wouldn't investigate. There was a death of a Jedi. He didn't want to go because it would be too much, and that was a bit silly. It's stupid that the Council didn't send them to investigate, just to collect the body.
The guards killed her!
Wow. They just killed her.
Eric was using his ascendancy to become rich at the expense of our people and planet.
Oh my god. Dooku's thinking about it.
How kind of you, Master Jedi.
Okay, this episode wasn't the worst thing. There was a couple of things, I guess, that were okay. I didn't mind the action in it and stuff like that. I don't like the idea of a Jedi being killed and all that these guys have been sent to do, Dooku and Mace Windu have been sent to do, is collect her body and bring her back. There's a really good storyline it's a crossover with the Plagueis novel. It's Shadow Hunter, Maul Shadow Hunter. So Maul gets sent on a mission by Palpatine, and what happens is a couple of Jedi die in that mission, and of course that forces the Council to actually investigate because Jedi died. If Jedi hadn't have died in that mission, then it would have all been okay for Palpatine, that is. And that's, again, like I said, a crossover with the Plagueis novel and Maul Shadowhunter. But the fact that they've just been sent there, not to investigate the death of a master, and not only that, but a master that has a seat on the Council, but they've only been sent there to collect her body, I feel like that's a problem just in itself. I mean, they should be sent there to investigate. Obviously, Dooku wants to investigate. Windu just wants to do what he was told and collect the body and bring it back. And that's it. Now, throughout that, I think every senator in the galaxy now just seems to be corrupt. Apparently, this senator was selling off the planet piece by piece, and instead of them killing the senator, like the guards killing the senator, they decided to kill the Jedi that was protecting the senator. And instead of them going to the Jedi and saying, this is what's happening and we don't like it, can you at least speak to the senator about it maybe, or something along those lines, they just go ahead and kill the Jedi. I don't like that. I really don't. I think that that's really convoluted and really stupid. And the whole thing of keeping the senator alive was purely to give their thoughts and what they wanted to push within the Senate and force the senator to push that forward in regards to what the guards wanted on the planet. So there is this massive fight that ensues, that they obviously think that the senator's lying when they arrive there. And I thought this was funny too. The senator goes, he doesn't want to go back to the site because it would be too much for him. And then this guy steps up and says, I'll take you there. But the senator still goes anyway. It's like, I thought he stepped up and said, I can take you there. And the senator would have just stayed because it was too much for him to handle. But the senator goes anyway. Obviously, they think that there's something more going on, and they get to the site, and it just looks like the blasters all came from the direction of the ship, which was the guards. The senator then runs and confesses that it was the guards that actually killed him, and Dooku lights his lightsaber up. Now, again, I know in the last episode they're trying to portray Dooku as falling to the dark side already, but for him to threaten them, I mean, he started the conflict. I mean, in all honesty, based on what happens here, Dooku should be removed from the Jedi Order for doing what he did, or at least disciplined in some way. The fact that when they get back to Coruscant, Dooku's pissed off that Windu's got her seat on the Jedi Council, the Jedi that they killed on the Council, is a surprise to him. It really shouldn't be, based on exactly what they're showing in this. The orders that were given was purely to get the body back to the Jedi Temple. And again, Dooku was the one that provoked this attack. Now, at the end of the attack, the guard says something to Dooku that actually gets him thinking, and that is basically that the Jedi are the lapdogs of the Senate, and they're not there for peace and justice. They're there to basically do what the Senate wants them to do. And again, that's a little incorrect. Yes, they can go and negotiate or whatever the case may be on behalf of the Senate, but they do answer to their own council. And Dooku knows this. And of course, that gets Dooku thinking again, trying to show early parts of his fall to the dark side and his sort of worries with the Republic and things like that. But again, I really think that the first thing that they should have been doing was investigating the death of a Jedi. A Jedi died. If it was just the senator that died and they were going there to collect the Jedi and bring her back because they've got nothing more to do here, well, then that's okay. But the fact that a Jedi gets killed and they're just sent there to bring the body back and not actually investigate, I think is an issue. I really do. In all honesty, I actually preferred the previous episode to this one. I will say these short stories aren't necessarily like, they're very quick in regards to the problem, the consequences and the resolution to it. Obviously, Dooku thinks that his thoughts on what's actually going on has some point or has some merit, and gets, of course, Dooku thinking. To me, this does feel a little convoluted to try and get Dooku to start thinking. And again, every senator that Dooku comes across in the 2 episodes that we've seen so far are corrupt senators. But my biggest problem with this is the fact that they were sent there purely to collect the body and not to actually investigate a Jedi's death, let alone a Master Jedi on the Council's death. And that is, like I said, that is my biggest problem. Obviously, they have a little bit of a discussion, Dooku and Mace, before they leave. They go through the funeral, which is a very quick thing. And then, of course, he finds out that the Master Jedi, Katri is her name, her seat on the council was given to Mace. And he starts asking him, did you know that before we went to Raxus? And, he basically goes, no, I'm just as surprised as you were, but I followed the rules and you didn't. But the rules, or what they were sent there to do, should have actually been the other way around. They were sent to investigate, not just to collect the body and bring it back. And again, I feel like Dooku did do the wrong thing by provoking the attack, by lighting up his lightsaber and saying that the attack came from the ship, as opposed to how you're describing it. Again, to me, it just feels a little bit convoluted in that sense. And I understand, like I said, why they're doing it, because they need to show Dooku's downfall. They need to show Dooku starting to have these second thoughts about the Republic, about how the Jedi serve the Republic. But as I said in the previous episode, if you want to get a good Dooku story in regards to his downfall, how he was manipulated, read the Plagueis novel and read the Revenge of the Sith novel. That would be my best advice to anyone. Anyway, that's my thoughts on episode 3. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one for episode 4. Later, guys.